Let's see how this goes. All right, there we go. Sorry, I'm trying to figure stuff out still, as usual. I can't remember which scene this was. Let's try that one. Yeah, that'll work. What's up? Sorry, I realized that I could play music because YouTube's not gonna get pissed off at me because it's all royalty free. Let's see. So I was gonna do a live. Oh, hang on. Let me turn this music down. I was gonna do a live premiere like we did with the previous video of the day 2 stuff, but oh dear. Maybe I'll be honest. It's we didn't have a crazy amount of video for day 2, so I felt like I didn't want to just release it by itself. So I figured we'd do a live session and watch the video at the same time because I want to start doing every week live sessions. And we still had some video, but it wasn't really good enough for like a whole thing. So made a quick video of those clips, put it together, and then we're gonna watch it today, and then kind of talk about what we got going on next with El Camino working this week, and the truck, what we have coming up for that, because we got to do a little bit of work to the truck, and before we can kind of go racing again. But there's a lot of racing going on right now, bunch of stuff coming up. So Shitbox, what's going on, man? So yeah, we'll wait for a couple more people to come in, and then I'll play the video, and then yeah, we'll kind of talk about it. So the start of this video was just day 2 of the track stuff. Well, it was all track stuff, but of the actual regular track day stuff. It was a 6.0 index for Saturday morning. So it's a daytime thing, but it took a really long time to actually get started. And well, you'll see the rest of the footage on what actually happened. But the top of the track race, it's a little bit more involved when you have to make sure that you're lining up in, like when I do track stuff, I do my burnout and then I go up to the line. I don't really need a whole lot of help with it. So it's not a problem to do that with just one person or even just by myself. So we were able to do video and still race, but weren't able to do much video for the top end race because we needed somebody in front of the car and behind the car to line us up after our burnout, and then pour and prep. It's always kind of nice to have 3 people. We probably could have done more video, but it was the first time being up there. We just wanted to make sure we didn't screw anything up, and it was kind of hectic. So, oh noes, the video froze, I think. I knew that was going to happen. I don't know if I can unfreeze that. What the hell? Oh, there we go. I kind of took care of itself. I don't actually know what I did there. That's interesting. All right, but anyway, let me make sure we got audio on the... Make sure we have desktop audio before we start. And we don't, because that would be too easy. What's up, Randy? Sorry, this is a bit of a shit show. This actually works better on my other computer that is crappier. Having a hard time getting sound from the computer to play, so bear with me. Play device. I don't know why that wouldn't be working. Desktop audio. Maybe? Well, this is going terribly. Oh, there we go. Maybe? Yeah, okay. I think we're good now. Yep, we got both. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get, I'll go ahead and start the video. And let me make this nice and small so that it's not getting in the way much. And do that. Okay, here you go.
What you got, Al? You got a bone? Yeah.
So yeah, like you saw, we lost to Daniel Burks in the final round. I thought I had a calibration in there that was like pretty good for 6.0, and so I just figured I could, if I stayed ahead of him, then I should be good. But he played it perfect. He realized that we were both going a little bit too fast, and he got on the brakes right before the end, stayed behind me, and I broke out, so he won. So that's how that went. But lesson learned, I mean, I haven't done any bracket racing. I haven't done any index racing before. I've always really liked the concept, but I've never actually done it myself. We'll probably, we have a good amount of data to use today. Tanya helped out by doing the video all yesterday, so I told her to talk to you guys, but she probably didn't. Yeah. So she'll do some more video today, and I'm just going to try to concentrate on actually winning. There's going to be the 6.0 class today is just a straight up 6.0 index. they're any car, any truck or whatever. Last night was just street trucks. Today, hopefully there's more cars, so it's a bigger payout, but it's also going to be faster cars. So the type of racing that I had to do in that last round with Daniel is probably going to be every round, to where, you know, multiple cars are probably capable of going faster, and so it's going to be this, you know, bracket thing where you try to go as fast as you can, but you know, have to be less worse than the other guy as far as breaking out goes. After that, there's going to be a top of the track race. So we got to do a couple of things before the 6.0 racing starts today. Good news is it'll be in the daytime, so footage should be pretty clear. Tiny's going to do the video, so we'll get the other lens on there so she can zoom in today.
Yeah.
Bear with her on the shakiness. She should get used to it. But yeah, I got to do a couple of things, unfortunately, to the truck. Last night it broke up a little bit once or twice. So I think the plugs have been in there since we put the motor in there. What was that like? Was that like 6 months ago?
Yeah.
So it's about time to change them out. So I'm going to change the plugs. We're going to take a look at the fuel filter because I haven't looked at the data log, but I got a feeling that we were a little bit low on fuel pressure, probably because that filter is getting clogged up again. So we're going to take that out, clean it out so we know we're good for the rest of the weekend, put some new plugs in, gap them down a little bit because we're actually running higher boost than we have previously, and then we should be good. Track's getting better and it's supposed to be warm today, so I think we'll actually be able to be pretty controlled over it. Like, we'll be able to make good hard hits and then govern ourselves at 6.0. Ground temp hopefully stays through tonight, and you know, we can hit it pretty hard at the top of the track too. But we'll talk more about that later.
It didn't get cold.
Actually, before we go any further, the breakup that I was talking about right there was actually, we're looking at the log and looking at the video afterward. I was spinning a little bit more than I actually thought we were. So that what I felt was breakup was actually me just like barely tapping the limiter once or twice. So yeah, plugs were fine, which is good because I only got through changing half of them before we had to go. They kind of snuck up on us, and we ended up having to go. Yeah, fuel filter was perfectly clean though. There's nothing wrong with that.
Cold until like really late. So.
No, exactly, and we won't be racing past that again. I don't think we'll be. I mean, maybe, I don't know. So the problem with out here that we're not really used to in Colorado is that there's the dew comes in. I mean, you just start seeing fog and everything gets wet, and so you can't race beyond that point, at least safely. So I don't know what they're gonna do. We'll see. But they don't plan to start that until 9, and last night it started getting a little moist around, I don't know what, like 1:30.
I don't know, because that was when we went to bed.
Yeah, probably about 1:30. Yeah, right before we went to bed.
I didn't notice.
So I don't know. We'll see. Last time they said it lasted until like 4 o'clock, but who knows? So we'll go get ready now and hope for the best on the 6.0 class. All right, so we're out here in the staging lanes, getting ready to go for the 6.0 index. They keep saying, you know, drivers need to be here. That was like 30 minutes ago. We come into the lanes, wait for like half an hour, and they say, all right, 6.0, get ready. You're getting ready to go. So we get in our cars, we get strapped in. Yeah, it's already happened twice that they've said you're getting ready to go, and nobody does anything. It's super strange. I don't know what's causing it, but it's kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, like that much on the way. Yeah.
Yeah, we're still battling this axle seal. When it's cold, it leaks. So we're having to like clean it. Every time we move it, it tries leaking until we get some heat into it, and I can't get a heat in unless I, you know, run it hard, do a pass. So hopefully it slows down. If it gets worse, I don't want to be putting fluid on the track, so we just won't run. So we'll see how it looks after this, and yeah, hope for the best.
still been?
I don't know actually. We did another that was our test pass, and I gotta take a look at the log. I don't know if they were doing wind light just like normal because it was a test pass, so whoever crossed the finish first won. But I thought I was too fast.
It was a really good pass.
And he was ahead of me, so I feel like it was just wind light was like normal. It wasn't based on 6.0. So I'll take a look at the log and see how long it was before I let out. Because there was about a second, maybe half a second before we crossed the line after I let out.
Did it wiggle
And just
or
try to
anything?
get an idea. No, straight as arrow. It took all of it. So, yeah, going 6.0 is not going to be a problem this time. The problem is going to be not going 6.0.
All right. So, little explanation. This is what I was kind of talking about. Oh damn, the camera's frozen again. Man, I am doing good today. All right. Well, I try to get that. I'll explain. So yeah, we just had a lot going on with the, beyond the 1320 race up top. Never having been to that track, not really knowing how the race was supposed to go, and just it kind of being a little bit chaotic. Um, we just didn't want to focus on video. I mean, if we went out there again, then we'd probably have no problem, taking some video. At least the GoPro stuff. I think we were all just pretty tired and wanted to make sure that we didn't screw up royally in the actual race. We didn't start, I don't think. Aston, correct me if I'm wrong. We didn't start until like 1 or 1:30, right? It was, I think on the schedule it was set to start at 9 o'clock, and we were nowhere near that. Nowhere near. Yeah, that's why we only have these couple of clips. So these are just the clips from that Tanya took with her phone. Just kind of gives you the idea of how the race was. Before we look at the first one, oh, there we go. See, camera just comes back all of a sudden. Let's see the no prep shit show. Yeah, 1:30. Okay, I wasn't crazy about that. And that's fine. We started late before, but it took like an hour just to get, like, after we drew, I thought we were going to line everybody up in those lanes and then, literally have your pairs set all the way down and then start pulling off of that line. But no, we just let everybody take their cars down and the support cars down, and everybody spread out like pretty much half of the track. So we start this race at the end of the track, and I think everybody was all the way, beyond the 8th mile back, parked, spread out as hell. And so the poor guys had to go, down the line and try to find all these pairs. I remember walking down there and, just kind of getting an idea of what it looked like up in the front. We probably walked around for like 15 or 20 minutes. And the guy was trying to wrangle everybody at the time when we walked down there. Walked all the way back to the car, made some changes on the computer, brought the computer all the way back to the front where our friend's car was parked, and then walked all the way back. I mean, it was probably a total of like, 25 minutes. And I was like, well, what pair are you on? So I make sure I'm not gonna, hold you up or anything. We're right down there, so we'll pull up whenever you guys are ready. And he's like, I'm on 4. I'm on the 4th pair. I was like, holy crap. So yeah, slow going, slow to start, and that's part of the reason why we didn't finish. But there was also just it's tough to do. Everybody was tired, I'm sure. They've been at it all day. Okay, so here's the first pass. Do this one real quick. Thank Tanya for the video. She always sneaks in these video clips. Oh wait, actually, before I do that, I want to make it very clear. I had the weakest, the softest tune that the calibration that I've ever used in this truck. So like the crappiest road that I've been on in Colorado, that's pretty much what I used, because they told me that it was really crappy up there, and I felt it. I walked it. It didn't seem all that bad. It was an asphalt road. They all suck. But I figured it would come around because I was like 17th. There was 36, right? 36 cars. So plenty of people went before me. I figured it'd start coming around a little bit, but I was like, all right, I'll stay soft because they said it was crappy. And this is what came of that. Nowhere. Kept going. I mean, it was like on ice. It was nuts. So, I mean, I noticed that about halfway down. And, the first 3 times that I had to pedal, and I wasn't really accelerating a whole lot. So I just started to feather it, and I heard him back there struggling really bad too. So I was like, okay, well, at least I'm good at this point. I don't need to, panic or anything like that. So I was just kind of playing around with it, see how much grip was actually in there, if it would come around, or if it would never take the amount of boost that I had into it. So, definitely an eye-opener. So we made a bunch of changes for the second pass, which was forever. And I ended up getting Aston again. So I had just raced him in the no trailer race. That was the first time that I had met him, and we had to race there in the final, and he beat me. And then, yeah, so then actually this was the second time. So we got to do a tiebreaker at some point. Let's see. Oh, phone keeps cutting out. Oh, crap. Is everybody else's cutting out, or is it good? Prep in the burnout, Hayden. So you're allowed prep in the burnout. You can burn out as long as you want past the line. But it was surprising. Like, I mean, the roads that we like test on in Colorado, they were wonderful compared to this road. It's really, really slick. I'm not actually sure why it was so bad. I mean, it's like asphalt, like any other. There wasn't anything odd about the road itself. I'm wondering if it's just because it is the top end of a track. Is the only thing that kind of made me think that it may be, yeah, exactly, similar to Airport Road, right? Airport Road's got way more grip than this, way more. I don't think dust. I'm wondering if it's actually a lot of fluid. Everybody lets out at the end of the track, and I'm wondering if everybody just, like, maybe there's always a little haze of fluid on the top end of the track. I know that, I mean, that sounds crazy, but how much grip does it really take, when you're slowing down? Everybody's just decelling at this point. Nobody's really on the brakes, crazy, super hard. I mean, and the guys that need to slow down really fast because they're going insanely fast have a chute to help them as well. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. The, drips and stuff from the vehicles and whatnot. Maybe it always kind of maintains pretty slick because it wasn't some weird road, and the road wasn't falling apart. It was old asphalt. That's usually a good asphalt for us. So, yeah, I'm not too sure what the deal was with that. I think my face froze again, but it doesn't matter because you guys are watching the video. I'll fix that later. But anyway, okay, so this is the second pass against Aston, which I do like racing him. It's fun. I thought he was going to destroy me on the light again like he did last time. I was hoping he wasn't going to. Tiny wasn't that great on the video on this one, but she was excited. I think she thought I was going to lose. I'll watch that one again real quick. I mean, this was... it was a lot. She's yelling at me. It was so it was on the motor. So I couldn't actually get the truck to leave on motor unless I launched it kind of like a nitrous, vehicle would normally. Like, you have a turbo car that gets on its launch control and then, has to stay on it for a while to build boost, and then they go. Nitrous car just has to stab it right before they're getting ready to go, just to make sure their RPM is up. That's basically what I did with this. I wanted to make 0 boost. I wanted to leave on the motor. Not to mention, I chopped a crap load of timing out of it just after the initial hit and waited for a long time before I brought it all back in. And then didn't increase the boost. I did the minimum boost that we could possibly do, for a decent ways out. And then nowhere near what full boost normally is. I mean, when I talk about we had to take out power, we had to really take out power. You need, and I made a drastic suspension change as well. So that's, it requires a lot. That was an eye opener. I did not think it would take that much. Negative 300s. Yeah, see, that's what I saw too for the DA. Somebody said it was even crazier than that at some point. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so I mean, Aston, what did you just? I mean, it was just an overshoot, right? On that road, it's just really, it's tricky. I was surprised. Never thought I would have to take that much power out. But yeah, I mean, you give it whatever the road asks for. So that's how it goes. Let's see. I'll watch that one more time, and then I'll just let it play into the next one. This one was the test pass, so I let it leave a little bit, trying to see if it would take it, but it didn't really. It left with a little bit of wheel speed, and once you get some wheel speed on that road, it just kind of carries it. It felt like actually that's a good example. When we were doing hard tire in Colorado, that's what it felt like on this surface, but with slicks and prep. It was tough. Aston said, I've never had luck there. I was pulling 20 degrees on a 4-second ramp. Okay, so I wasn't crazy with the amount of shit we were pulling. Okay, that makes sense. Literally at the 60, it just got sideways. But yeah, it's I mean, on this one it was right off the bat that it got some wheel speed, but you're able to pedal it a little bit, and then I just partial throttled it until I felt the car coming back around, and then I was able to get in it. But I mean, full boost for this thing is like 20 pounds, and the target, if I didn't touch the scramble on these runs, were like 12 or 13. So even peak, that's how kind of crazy it was. So it bit, but then it spun a little bit, so I pedaled and then I had to partial pretty much all the way until just before the end. So it wasn't bad. I mean, it's usable. I mean, if I had a draggy, I'd really love to see how bad our times were. It must have been really absolutely terrible. Yeah, it was pretty gnarly. Let's see, the machine gun Chevy truck. Oh yeah, I'm not sure if I don't think he did race the top of the track. Not sure. 500 to 700 horsepower road. I mean, well, so that's the thing on the setup that it was. Yeah. Could we make some major suspension changes to cater to that road a little bit more? Probably, and it would get a little bit better. But yeah, not a whole lot of crazy fast passes that I think would be going on in there. I mean, everybody talks about all-wheel drive having, advantages on crappy roads. It has to be really, really crappy for the all-wheel drive to really have a significant advantage over a properly set up rear-wheel drive. That road, I think, I think that goes into the territory of all-wheel drives having a pretty significant advantage. Now, any all-wheel drive with a decent amount of power is still going to struggle a little bit, but I think it's one of those roads for sure. Mount the motor 2 feet off the ground. Yeah, I mean, there's only so many changes you can do. The road is just a struggle. So, which I like because, power control is fun. So I didn't mind that too much. All right, let me get this camera going, and then I want to bring up a couple of things that we have going on because I got a nice announcement. How do I do this? Maybe I just settings, properties. Okay, maybe it'll come back. Come on, you can do it. Maybe you can't. Maybe you're screwed up. It's good though because full-blown race cars can come out and dominate. Yeah, no, absolutely. I liked that. You saw a lot of really gnarly cars go out first round, and after seeing the first couple of guys go, I was like, oh yeah, this could be a lot of upsets, which is cool. But that's not to say that a fast car or a high horsepower car can't do good on that road. It absolutely can, but you really got to cater to it. And that was, never having been on the road, I looked at people and I was like, okay, yeah, how bad could it be? I've been on, some really shitty roads. It's surprising. I'm sure it's surprising to a lot of people. But once you've seen it, once you have data for it, it's, if you're smart, you get it. You get it sorted out. Driving around lost right now. Catch you later. Oh yeah, put the navigation back on. We'll talk to you later, dude. Man, I cannot get this camera to work. I'm not sure why. Let me reset this, maybe. Nah, it's definitely in the program because I turned the camera off and it didn't even do anything. Ugh, that's so irritating. Best ventriloquist ever. Yeah, what you got? Well, shit. I feel like I should just play one of my videos in the background so at least my mouth is moving around. Right now, it's kind of weird. Whatever. Okay, so, damn it, I wanted the camera because I want to show you this banner, but we are now a dealer for Skinny's prep. So, I mean, that's the prep that we've always used. We've been using it for a while. We did a lot of testing with a bunch of different preps in really cold weather and hot weather and asphalt and concrete, and all of them are really good in certain scenarios. But the Skinnies always seem to be the most predictable on all of them. And I've always said that it's kind of a no-brainer at this point. If I'm going to be using it and, I kind of stand behind it, we might as well, become a distributor for it. So, yeah, we're going to be, I'm just going to always keep a stock. So I think there's one other person that does it in Dallas. But they don't carry a whole lot, or I don't know, they haven't made an order in a long time, so I'm not sure if it's just people, don't use it that much around here, but hopefully we can convince them that it's kind of the more well-rounded solution to use. If I can keep, beating some people that are using other preps, maybe I can convince them, or at least try to get them to give it a try. But yeah, so anyway, that was one of the announcements, and I wanted to show the cool banner that they gave me and everything, but the stupid, this damn camera is preventing that. But anyway, since we're having problems and whatnot, I really just wanted to show the video and kind of chat with you guys a little bit, and then talk about what we got going on. So I guess video isn't really hugely important. The El Camino. So we are going to be working on that a little bit tomorrow and Sunday probably. So Tanya is going to be on pretty much teardown mode. I got to work on the truck because it is leaking from multiple places and it's no longer practical to just keep band-aiding it. I really got to go ahead and fix it. So one of them is the axle bearing. That's been leaking. We used a different style of bearing in there. And it didn't have the O-ring, and it's started leaking a while back. It's become annoying. We always have to like put a paper towel in there, and when it's cold, it leaks a decent amount. So we're sitting there like trying to keep it from spilling all over the wheel. I mean that's an exaggeration, but trying to keep it at bay until the thing warms up and can expand a little bit. So we're gonna put a different bearing in there to solve that. And then there's a leak um, on the tail shaft as well. So we got to fix those two things in the truck. And while I do that, Tanya is going to be pulling the motor and transmission out of the El Camino. Maybe the rear end too. I don't know. We got to see what we're going to do with that. I got to figure out what rear end is actually even in it in the first place. So we'll have a lot of stuff on the El Camino this weekend because that's going to be kind of our primary thing. If I don't get the truck done this weekend, it's not a huge deal. So gearhead rush, what happened? The picture just froze and I can't get it to come back, so we're just talking unfortunately. I'll try one more time, but so yeah, the plans for the El Camino, going to be going by PTS Fab tomorrow morning. We're going to pick up some of the parts that we were going to use in the Civic, figure out a game plan of actually getting the Civic in our garage because we have multiple issues with that. There is no back wheels. The rear of it is very delicate, and there's no brakes. So we got to rig up a couple of things, weld a good set of solid wheels to the body itself, so that we can roll it on some rocky ground because we have a dirt road to our garage. So one way or another, we have to pull it on some relatively rocky terrain. Even if we manage to not do that, then we have to let it down the driveway, kind of like we did with the El Camino. And I'd rather just, get some plugs for the brake lines and rig up the front brakes to at least work again, so that we have that just in case. Do not want to roll down that hill with that car. But yeah, so the overall goal for the El Camino is to get it moving as soon as freaking possible. So I'm not sure if we're going to go ahead and put it together with the stock rear end. If we find out that the stock rear end that's in it is absolute glass and it's not even going to be any fun, then we'll go ahead and work on getting an 8.8. I don't think that we're going to be able to use the 8.8 that was for the Civic because I think it's way too narrow. But I don't know. We'll take some measurements and see. But I'm pretty positive it's going to be It's going to be like right in line with the frame rails. So I doubt put it on a sled. Yeah, and I mean, you saw what we did with the El Camino. It's like that. Plus, we have wheels that aren't attached to the body very well. So we got to take those casters off and then put something that's a little bit more sturdy on there. And then maybe just lower it down with the truck again. But yeah, so the majority of the stuff we have, which is really exciting because the G-Body is going to be such an easy swap vehicle. People make mounts for them, people make suspension for them, they make, install kits for I don't know how many things, especially LS stuff. And we already have, some rigged up manifolds that we can use for the twins that we have. If we want to stick with those, at least initially, then, we're good to go. We have a lot of the material to finish off, piping. We have all the stuff that we need for the intercooler, although I have to teach myself how to weld, unless I can maybe just kind of put everything together as best as I can and then pay a friend to finish it up for me. I'm not sure. Sometimes that turns out to be more harm than good. So we may end up just getting a cheap intercooler for it and, make do. It's going to be on ethanol, so, as usual, we can kind of get away with murder on that. So if we use a cheap intercooler, it's not a huge deal. Let's see, probably the same diff that the third gen Camaros have. Yeah, and those aren't, I mean, they're not very strong, right? Probably has a 7.5. Yeah, so I think it does have a 7.5. Now that you say that. So I'm not sure. We'll have to. I mean, I'd like to put an 8.8 in it eventually anyway. I just don't know if it's going to be first thing on the list. If we can get away with having some fun with it, with the current rear end in there, obviously we'll try to do that. But if we got to put an 8.8 in there and the one with the Civic doesn't fit, it's not a big deal to put an 8.8 in there, it turns out. And we'll probably stick with a stock 8.8 for a while at least, because of how much success everybody else is having on, completely stock 8.8. I'm curious to see how much it takes to actually break one. So that I wouldn't mind, putting in a little bit of work to get the 8.8 in there because it's not much. You gotta remember, I mean, they're both of the car and the 8.8 rear end is coming from a triangulated 4-lane car. So it's just a matter of making sure that the brackets and the attachment points actually match up. So people already make adapter kits for it. It's not a huge thing. Scatter the 7.5 for funsies. Well, the problem is that we'll have to do a drive shaft to match up to that. I mean, if I can get away with making a drive shaft that'll also work with the 8.8, I have no problem with destroying that rear end. What I don't want to do is spend too much time on a rear end that we know for a fact is going to grenade, pretty much immediately, So we'll see. I'll have to take a look at it. Hoonigan's Build and Battle has third gen welded diff. Third gen, but so those are 10 bolts, right? Is that what comes in? Yeah, see, I'm not sure. I don't know a whole lot about these cars very much. So I don't know. We'll have to play around with it a little bit and see what's best. Once we start kind of getting into it, get it out, see what it is, talk to some people about, what the best course of action is. I'm sure we'll Exploder 8.8 with disc brakes. Yeah, or so what we did with the truck was we just got a Mustang 8.8 and then we just retrofitted some Explorer brakes on it. So we can do that. I just have to, look at if we go with an 8.8, depending on the offset that's required for the wheels. I mean, we might have to buy. I'm pretty positive we're gonna have to buy a new set of wheels. So that's kind of a big bummer because it would be cool if we were able to use the rear end that we have for the Civic and we were able to use the wheels and maybe even tires that we have for the Civic, but I do not think that is going to work out. So those are two major, relatively major expenses. But if we keep the 8.8 stock, then it's not too bad. I mean, if we can make the damn thing survive, if we make sure that the car stays pretty light and the 8.8 will survive, let's say, 3,000 pounds or 3,100 pounds with 700 horsepower, that's going to be plenty for Tony to have some fun with. We'll worry about turning it up and really beating the crap out of it later. That's not a huge deal. So I think they said it was 10 bolt, 7.5 inch. Okay. Yeah. So got to do some research, or use a 97 and up F-150 8.8 rear end. You know what? I have not actually used one of those. We've used the Mustang one and we've used an Explorer one. Those are the only two that we have. The one for the Civic is an Explorer rear end, which didn't even have to be because we wanted that one because it has the reluctor in it and the speed sensor in the rear, the ABS sensor. Problem is the type of sensor that it is takes up too many inputs for us. If we wanted to make that one work, it would use multiple inputs, and that's not worth it. We want a single input only. So yeah, it didn't even end up being worth it, and it did cost a little bit more, but not a huge deal. We'll find an 8.8 and we'll put it in eventually, or we'll put it in immediately if it sounds like the stock rear end is going to explode before it's worth the effort to, I guess, make it work. I guess it's not, you know what? It's not really that much effort. I'm an idiot. I'm thinking of this as like we'd have to retrofit some stuff, but it's already in the freaking car. All we'd have to do is the drive shaft. Worst case scenario, if we couldn't, make the adapter, how much would 2 drive shafts really cost us, or editing the drive shaft? So I don't know. Maybe we will do that. That'd be the easiest. But obviously just to, have some fun though, because I wouldn't want to buy a wheel and tire setup for the offset that rear end creates if we know we're going to break it and get rid of it. So maybe, as a drive around and burnout machine, we can go have some fun with it. But I think we'll cater it to how the 8.8 is gonna end up, and we'll probably use that completely stock. Maybe get some upgraded axles, but disc brakes, and we should be good. But anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. Really sorry about the frozen up video. I will probably not do the live streams from this computer anymore until I figure out why it always freezes up. I actually thought this problem happened with my other computer, but this is reminding me that it is this one that does that. So the next ones that we'll do these every Friday, unless something crazy is going on. So the next one we'll do in the garage like we did on the last one, because that one actually went really smooth. No problems at all. So anyway, yeah, thanks again. We will have another weekend update video. It'll probably be way more. I don't think there will actually be any racing, unfortunately. It'll all be working on the El Camino and truck for a change of pace. And because there is some racing going on, but I just don't think that I'm going to be able to get the truck done in time, because I'm not sure if I have what we need here to actually fix it right away. But we'll find that out tomorrow, and you guys will see that in the next video update. So thanks again for watching. Make sure when you're watching the videos, do me a huge favor, like it, share it. The liking, I guess, is a huge help. But by all means, share it out. See if maybe some of your friends like it. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one then. See ya.